Lightworks, this is my favorite question, and one of my favorite questions, because it brings up so many very wonderful stories. You say, could I describe the ideal safari wardrobe? Shall I give you the sarcastic answer first or the serious one? I think we'll go with the sarcastic one first. The sarcastic answer is, Lionheart Lightworks, that what you must do is make sure that you wear khaki. Because if you do not wear some kind of brown or khaki, the animals will undoubtedly run away from you because they will see you coming. So you must remain hidden in the bush as much as possible. And despite the fact that you will be on a vehicle that's going with a guide yakking at you, if you're in khaki, the animals will not know that you're coming. They will be completely oblivious to your presence. Likewise, especially if you're on walk, you must be in something that makes you completely invisible. Ideally khaki, but possibly camouflage, depending on how serious you are. Then, if you're not used to the insects and you're coming out here and you're likely to go on a night drive like this, especially in the summertime, insects will assail your face during the night. And so the best thing to wear is a beekeeping helmet. Now, I have actually seen this on safari. I have turned to face my guests as we drove along on a very pleasant summer's evening and found all four of them dressed in beekeeping helmets. So you definitely need that. Then you need industrial quantities of bug spray. Now, the general assumption is that you will not be able to find any bug spray here in South Africa, and so you must import it from wherever it is that you are coming. Normally it will be illegal in South Africa because it is so toxic it will probably melt your skin, but you must bring that too. Then what you mustn't bring is a jersey, because it's never cold in Africa. Africa is never cold at all, and so you must not bring any kind of warm clothing. Ideally you want to bring clothing, khaki obviously, or brown, or some sort of bush color that is breathable. So it must have flaps in various parts of it. Along the back is quite a commonly good flap, one sort of under the underarms to allow a good airing of the smelliest part of your body, possibly also sort of around the rib cage. And then I also quite like those pants that become shorts. So if you have got long pants, if you can get the convertible transforming ones that become shorts immediately on undoing a zip, you should definitely bring some of those as well. In terms of a sun hat, what you don't want is your average baseball cap. What you want, of course, is something leather, or canvas, I suppose, but something that looks like it would have been worn by Peter Hathaway Capstick or Frederick Courtney Selous on their hunting expeditions circa, I think they were active around the 1900s, so something around that, at least late 19th century. You definitely need a hat like that. Then, if you can get it through customs, a knife is an excellent idea for men. Men should carry a knife. Crucial are shoes. You must have a great pair of walking shoes if you come on safari, because to sit in a vehicle like this and not have a great pair of walking shoes would be a travesty. And so normally you need to go and buy a pair of shoes that is bush colored, and would, buying, sort of 4 pairs for the family would sort of roughly equivalent to the GDP of a small country. So you definitely need those shoes. Must be waterproof completely, just in case, some water gets into the car while you're driving. If you're walking, you definitely need those things. Crucially, you never go into the bush with shorts on. If you're going on a walk, you must have the longs, so don't lose the pant part of your transformer shorts. So that, I suppose, is a sort of general indication of what you should be wearing when you are on safari. Now I'll give you the serious answer. Let's separate safari into 2 things. Let's first separate it into walking and driving. A driving safari, basically you can wear anything you like. It really doesn't matter at all. Look, you should try and steer away from very bright colors, not because they necessarily affect animals, but because animals are largely colorblind, but what they do, the brighter the color, the more the light reflects off them. So the colors to avoid would be white, or like a shiny black. But you know, pale yellow, pale red, pale orange really doesn't matter. Yeah, green and neutral colours are preferable, I suppose, and you don't stand out like a sore thumb when you drive into a sighting. A jersey is massively important. Unless you're here in midsummer, it really can get quite cold when you're out in the open at night or in the early morning. So I would suggest bringing a good fleece jacket or jersey, and definitely a waterproof in summertime, because it is extremely unpleasant driving along in the rain without a decent waterproof. And the lodge, no matter how much money you have paid to stay there, will provide you with what they call the rain poncho, which, as I have many times before described, is about as effective as wearing a tea bag over your head. It is totally ineffective, and so I would bring my own waterproof clothing. Shoes-wise, you don't have to wear longs. If I was coming out in summer, I wouldn't bring a pair of longs to wear, unless you're dreadfully worried about mosquitoes, in which case you might want to wear a pair of longs at night time. But you don't need to go into the bush with long pants on. If you go on a walk, let's move to walking safaris. Yes, neutral clothing is good, but khaki is an almost universally bad colour because it fades with time and it becomes bright white. It looks like that termite mound in front of us. You see that termite mound? Oh, the road. It assumes the same colour as this road. And that is hopeless if you are trying to go on a sort of hide from animals. So like a dark green or grey, those are the best colours. But I mean, yeah, something neutral will be fine. Decent pair of shoes, always a good idea. And you know, one of the things I've just found after goodness knows how long doing this is a pair of gaiters. And they're a completely inexpensive, seemingly innocuous pair of little sort of flaps that we put over our shoes. And what they do is they stop grass seeds getting into your socks. And my goodness, they have been an absolute revelation, because there's nothing more irritating than walking along for the day with huge numbers of grass seeds sticking into your ankles. So those are crucial. Good sun hat is crucial. I mean, a cap is absolutely fine, and if you're walking, a cap is much better than a full hat, because you will be amazed how different the world sounds when you've got a full hat cap on, a full hat, and you need to be able to hear all around you, and so that's why I always walk in a cap. I used to drive with a hat on, then I'd walk with a cap. So I think that's probably the ideal safari wardrobe. Now, Machine Gun Nest, this is a very, very good question. You say, what kind of underwear should you wear when you're on safari? Well, ideally clean underwear. That is always crucial, because, of course, as we all know, should you sort of happen upon an accident and be, you know, knocked down and some medical person has to come and look at you, what you don't want to have, of course, is a dirty pair of underwear. That would be the most embarrassing thing. So clean is, first of all, crucial. Ideally, you... I'm going to stop there. It could get a little risque from this point, and we don't want to do that. Oh, what colour? What colour of underwear? The colour of underwear, neutral colours, of course, and well, I always find that not white is the best option, I feel. You should wear underwear, though. I mean, there have been times, a few times, and indeed with a number of the staff members here, where, you know, thankfully they haven't been live, but the absence of underwear has put them in slightly compromising and embarrassing positions. So yes, you should definitely wear underwear when you are in the wilderness. I think that's all I have to say about safari clothing. Oh, and in winter, a nice woolly hat is a good idea. Now, obviously I'm no fashionista, but I know someone who is, and she'll tell you what her safari wardrobe would look like.